All right, good morning. Back to Mike being online. I went to sleep and didn't wake up as early as I thought I might do. What we got? Quick check in on the money raised so far. So we're up to £4,360, which is cool. Absolutely awesome. We have Jenny Radcliffe and Stu Hirst up next. So, hi, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, how are we doing?
We're doing all right. A little bit tired, despite having actually had 3 hours more sleep than I said I'd have. But yeah, doing all right. Welcome to BeerCon 1 and welcome to Sunday morning. Would you like to just give us a little bit of an intro as to who you both are? Well, we'll start with yourself, Jenny.
Oh, yeah, I'm Jen. I'm a social engineer and produce a couple of podcasts in the community and do some talks and stuff. It's Sunday morning. What do you want to say?
Well, pretty much what you're saying.
Hi, I'm Stu. I'm as tired as Jenny sounds. So my day job is head of cloud security at Just Eat, and I do some community stuff as well up in Scotland and run some meetups and things.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So, Jenny, can we start with you? Give us a little bit of a flavour for some of the work that you do, the kind of things that you get involved in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of the time, really, I'm a physical penetration specialist, which for this time of the morning is always, something people smile at. But social engineering, the psychological side, really has been specialties, and I've done it for ever. I feel really old now, especially in the many hats meetups and things that I see the guys at. I feel ancient, but yeah, mostly. So not a technical hacker, but unless you see the brain as a technical tool,
Pretty technical.
And if you do, then that's what I would do. And yeah, and a lot of kind of just breaking into buildings and stuff. I guess I've been doing that before I really even would have labelled it anything to do with cyber or hacking or social engineering. Just always done it really. Fall off a lot of roofs and things. And then of course within the community, put B-sides, Liverpool First B-sides on this year. Got another one coming next year. And I do sort of podcasts and things and try and interview people with stories because the community is full of people with great stories. So I like to put them on and talk about them as well.
So you run a podcast and I think you do videos and things like that. Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, so I have the Human Factor podcast. And I mean, a lot of people, what I'm always surprised and overwhelmed by is the generosity of people. It's like this, you ask people to come on and they come on and they just open up and talk about what they do and what they're passionate about. And we get, a lot of engagement from the community because I think we try and not focus on the product side or anything, but just on why people do it, what they love, and I'm always surprised and delighted by the generosity of people who give their time to come and talk about these things. I see so many podcasts now, and I guess it's just that we all want to share within the community. People want to share about it and talk about it and get people in to the community. And so we've done little events like Stu does in Scotland. We've done little events in Liverpool just to try and shine a light on the good side of what we do, and to show people how passionate we all are about what we do. And it's yeah, so it's quite a ride. It's a busy job, but I love it.
So you put on. You mentioned B-sides Liverpool, and myself and Ian and the beer farmers generally were happily guests of that particular conference back in the summertime. Give us a little bit of an insight into how that went and what it was like to actually put on your inaugural local conference.
Well, I want first of all just a big shout out to Matt at Data Jam here because obviously he's doing the technical side of this for this conference, and he came and he helped out Cooper and everything at Liverpool as well. So
yeah,
big high five to Matt. But well, it was just we felt like we needed something in Liverpool. There's lots of great B-sides in and around. Obviously Manchester's been going for a couple of years and everything. It's not too far, but we just feel like Liverpool's such a good city to do it in. And we like a party. We've got the venues, and it was chaotic. Me and I think you've got Stu on later, Stu Coulson.
Yeah.
And Brian Campbell and Rich DeVere helped. And oh God, it seems like such a good idea over a few beers to do it.
Yeah.
And then it's a lot of work, it's so much work to get it to run smoothly. But Liverpool's a city that likes party, and we like to welcome people. And, we were overwhelmed really by the success of it, by the heat. It was we actually had it in the Maritime Museum in Liverpool on the Albert Dock on a day that was one of the hottest days. I think it was the hottest day of this year and one of the hottest days ever. And it was sweltering hot, and but we wanted to hold it in an iconic building. So we wanted to hold it on the dock, somewhere where people could easily find. And I suppose one of the best things about it was the directions I gave on Twitter on the day was, if you just go towards the great big green bird on top of a building, you'll see us, which was quite cool. Like, how do we get there? Just find the live bird,
Yeah.
And it was kind of, we had some great speakers. It was just such a lovely coming together of everyone and everything that we wanted in the community. And we're hoping to do it again next year. Trying to find a date is the problem, because there's quite a lot of events now. We don't want to clash with anything because we want to go to them. So we were thinking of one date, and it was going to clash with SteelCon. I'm like, no, we're not. We all want to go to SteelCon.
Yeah.
So we're still nailing a date, but Liverpool is just one of those cities. I think we were really lucky with some of the speakers, because Liverpool's one of the cities people want to visit, for other reasons. And we had we had the Beer Farms on, Ian speaking, and it was a brilliant day, and we're going to keep doing it. So I think I can exclusively reveal, if you like, that for the 2021, we're going to focus on the social engineering, the physical, the OPSEC side, as well as obviously all the usual things that we'd have for the B sides, and try and give some classes and things on things like sweeping rooms and self-defense and breaking surveillance and those types of things. So it should be quite a spooky, in inverted commas, B-sides next year.
Sounds excellent. Sounds fantastic. And we had a good time. I mean, I've got an affinity for Liverpool anyway from my time in the music industry, so it's which I've made no secret of. But to actually rock up in Liverpool on an InfoSec engagement, as it were, was extra special. So yeah, look forward to coming along and getting involved next year. It'll be brilliant. Stuart.
So Stuart. Oh yeah, I know my parents that call me that.
It's your Sunday name, and it is Sunday. So you're no stranger to putting events on. You've done quite a few. I think the Beer Farm has also graced one of your events in September time.
Yeah.
Give us a bit of your background. Give us a flavour for your kind of day of the week.
Yeah, so obviously day job with Just Eat, which is dealing with cloud security stuff, which I've sort of morphed into over the last couple of years, and still don't know a huge amount about, I guess. And it's just really interesting, and I love the company, and I'm having a really good time. The community stuff's really interesting, and I love speaking to people who are all involved in all these facets of the community stuff, because we do our little thing in Scotland, and everyone's on a pretty similar journey, I think, where you just start a thing or you do a thing, and then it grows these legs, and you never quite get it right, and it morphs into something you just didn't really expect it to be. And I suppose I'm no different. Started a meet up 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was, and it kind of grew legs and became quite popular. I now run a project with Harry McLaren up here in Scotland called Cyber Scotland Connect, and we were two people who ran meetups, and we just saw lots of kind of issues in Scotland of people doing amazing things and individually driving lots of cool stuff, but things were clashing. It was hard to get speakers, hard to get venues, sponsorship. And we sort of came together and thought, why don't we just build something that's like a conduit between all these groups of people? So now we have a whole stack of moderators who fulfill different roles within what we're doing, and they help with all manner of things. So we get involved in a whole raft of things in Scotland, not because we're trying to, influence any of those kind of things, but just because it is a small enough community where we all know each other and can all help each other, yet we're all doing separate stuff. So you've got OWASP and the thing that we do, and ISACA and loads of other organisations, and it's been really, really valuable, and I'm really proud of it. Actually, we're a year in. There isn't a strategy, there isn't a longer term plan. We're just trying to do some helpful things.
Yeah, cool, and a bloody fine job you do as well. Just give us an idea, because we see on social media and all that kind of stuff that there could be some challenges around putting events on. It's fair to say, and I think where I'm going with this is that you're never going to please everybody. and you're always going to have people that find that it's not for them, or that their thing, as it were, has been overlooked or neglected.
Yeah.
What I guess this is to the pair of you really, is what your experiences of that, and how have you kind of overcome some of those challenges, in terms of making these events as inclusive as you can?
Yeah, I'll just chip in before Jenny chips in.
Yeah,
So
sure.
again, when we started the meetup in Scotland, and then the Cyber Scotland Connect thing, it's born out of some ideas to help people be part of the community and talk about things. And then as it does get bigger, you do have to think about things that you didn't think about before. So things like code of conduct, and as you become a bit more of a formal thing, you have to adapt to those things. So, and we've been on a bit of a learning curve with that, as anybody has. Scotland's an interesting place because, unfortunately, it's not the most diverse of populations compared to other parts of either the UK or beyond, and which we're all trying to make that better. I suppose the only thing that I would add is we're trying to do what we think is the right thing with a whole selection of people who can help, and we don't always get it right. We're not trying to overthink it too much. The events that we run up in Scotland are awesome. We don't get any particularly dissenting voices, which is great, and we're trying to look for diverse speakers and crowds. But it's certainly a journey.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Jenny, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree that we certainly for Liverpool, it was, we had such a small team and we were doing everything and we were trying to do so much of it right. But then what's right in terms of the actual event, and when people, we had speakers, pull out, and we were sort of pulling things together. And then on the day, there's just so many moving parts to try and look after. So there were people there, who needed extra help in terms of physical capabilities around the venue. There were people who were, sort of really overwhelmed by the fact, because it was a really it was a really fun event. It was very loud and very chaotic, and people were there to have a really good time as well, sort of really enjoyed the talks and everything. And so there's a lot of moving parts. And I think the thing that we've sort of really bore in mind for next year is you wanted to kind of be informal and loose because it was the B-sides, but at the same time, you've got to keep putting in, you've got to keep revising, the way things are running, the way people are behaving. We had a great team in terms of, we had the Goon Squad. I wanted to be called that, by the way. And we did say, you can call yourself whatever you like. No, we're fine with Gooch and we want to think about other things. And it was just pulling everyone together and having it. So, I think the thing that overwhelmed me was the will of everyone who was there to make it work, and the support that we got.
Yeah.
And the enthusiasm of it. And on the day, it's a full day event. I was there from sort of 7:30 in the morning. We'd all been out the night before, but we were there from very early. And it's the enthusiasm of it that's going, but there's just so many moving parts to an event. And that's what I'd say, if people are starting to put B-sides together, one of the things is you want to grow it, you want it to be huge. I was thinking, next year we'll do 2 days or 3 days, and a couple of people in the business who've done lots of them. So people from B-sides London, we had a lot of kind of big brothers and sisters from over the world who I spoke to about B-sides events before Liverpool, giving me advice. One of the pieces of advice they gave was, don't be too keen to grow it too quickly. Get that one day as tight as you can and as right as you can, because it seems counterintuitive, but the more kind of time you put into controlling what happens, the more loose people can actually be. And so we've kind of learned from that a little bit and said, we're going to keep it to a day. Obviously, we'll be there the afternoon before and doing a few things, but we're going to keep it to a day and just really watch out for those moving parts this time, because you get so caught up in the minutiae in the day that it's quite difficult sometimes to stay focused and, some of the bigger things. So that's really what we're looking at this year. It's learning as you go, as Stu said. But, it's more, you're overwhelmed by support in this community for things like this.
Yeah.
Not just in terms of people donating and supporting us and sponsoring and everything, but just goodwill, just people just saying, really hope you have a good one. Don't worry, we're with you. I mean, it's that's something about this community that I've worked in and still do work in a lot of different sectors and clients and stuff. But it's something that it overwhelms me sometimes in the community, the way people will chip in and support people.
Yeah. No, it's funny, on my whiteboard behind me, I've just got in massive letters positive, which was what I was going to try and get across in chatting this morning. And you get the odd kind of dissenting voice either on Twitter or something will happen at an event that is unavoidable or whatever it might be. But yeah, I totally agree, Jenny. It's just things like this and just the way that everybody gives back to a community, I think, is phenomenal. I can't really think of too many industries that this amount of people commit their own time for not a huge amount of reward, because this is our personal time we're doing a lot of these things in, so it's not to get the small violins out, but that is fundamentally what we all do and what we all contribute to because we care about it so much.
I think you're right, and I think speaking from point of view as somebody who's been a punter at a conference or 10, and also been a speaker at a number of conferences, particularly this year, you become invested in it. Even though you're not part of the organising committee or you're an organiser on the day, you invest in it. So you invest in it by turning up at it, or you invest in it by preparing a talk for it, or any of those kinds of things. And I think when it comes to the day of the event, you just kind of, along with everybody else, you're willing it to succeed.
Yeah. I mean, I speak, I mean, more than half the time I'm speaking now at all sorts of conferences all over the place. And so, you're kind of under the impression, oh, I've done this, this is not my first rodeo. I mean, this year I've probably done, I think it was about 65 events this year, one thing or another, as a speaker. And so you think, oh, I've got this, then what could possibly happen that I don't know? But if it's your event, and also we run it on a shoestring, the minute that we have enough sponsorship money, we can the sponsorship. We don't want to make any money from it. We want to just offer, try and offer some sort of hardship tickets or tickets for students or lower price things. We want to try and make it as accessible as possible for as many types of people as possible. But we didn't want to make any money. And then what you find is that it's so different from corporate events and things I speak at, where there's just so much money that like you can almost, I learned a long time ago in corporate that there's a lot of problems if you've got the resources that you just solve it. If you can throw money and resources and time at problems and teams, they go away. But if you've decided that you're not going to make any money and the whole thing's in the spirit of the community, then you've got to be creative and think of creative solutions to get over things. And I think you couldn't be in a better community for getting people to think outside the box and be creative, And so we sort of send flags up on various things, and people always respond. So yeah, no, I'm coming to the end of the year. I'm just feeling a lot of love for the community, despite everything that goes on. I think we forget sometimes that we're quite tight knit. I mean, I did a talk a while ago, and I was talking about the numbers of people in the infosec industry in the UK, and the figure that was sort of coming out was only around about 300,000.
Yeah.
Right. And so you think about that, and actually that's not that many people. It's no wonder that we all know each other, and it feels like a family with everything that implies, with the kind of, and I'm going to say this now and probably shouldn't, but like you've got like the pissed uncle and auntie over in one corner that cause trouble at every event. You've got the people who, it's like being in a pub. Someone said to me, this is what Twitter's like, infosec is like being in a pub with everyone. Yeah. And then most people can't find, and then there's side conversations, and then now and again there's like a squabble or whatever. And it feels like that sometimes,
Like a family wedding kind of thing, right?
It's like a family wedding, but that goes on 24/7 across the globe with all of us involved in opinions. And I just, but for the most part, family weddings are fun, right? And so that's really where I came from with it, and just can't wait to get it all going again. And like Stu, I've been to Stu's events in Scotland, and it's the same in Scotland, it's the same in Leeds, it's the same for all the B-Sides events. And it's the same just for the community. We get on with it, and most people have got the best intentions most of the time. Yeah. And as I say, we need to creative problem solving. And I mean, if you look at you guys today, when I saw that the Google thing went down for Discord, and there was a little bit of shit, this has gone down for BeerCon 1.
Yeah.
I had no worry at all that you guys would get up and running and come up with a plan B, and a massive respect for you to do it the way you did, because we make things happen.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think you're right, and people pull together. It's I would call it the British spirit, but it's not about that. It's about everybody that's we're all ultimately on the same team, and it's things like BeerCon 1 and things like B-Sides and Cyber Scotland Connect, where you see it manifest, where people actually do pull together because they care, they give a shit, and everybody wants goes back to my point about investment. Everybody wants a really good outcome for things like this, and that's clear. And I think the other thing it demonstrates is never underestimate the amount of effort that goes in behind the scenes in making these events a success. You know, and having not really Bacon one because we kind of threw it together on the back of a fag packet, but certainly like when you've got to get a venue and you've got to get catering and you've got to get people in and all this kind of stuff, it's not an easy thing to do. And having seen the wiring under the board of that on a number of occasions now, it's something that I on behalf of the industry generally really appreciate. So thank you for your time. And thank you for your efforts. And that flew by really quickly. But yeah, Stu, Jenny, awesome to have you on.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us, and thanks for putting this on. And again, just to say to everyone, you know, I wanted to do a Bob Geldof moment and just go and swear. Can I swear?
Yes, you can, absolutely.
Because, you know, I like swearing a lot, and you know, you want to go, give us your fucking money. People are, you know, this is for charity. You don't be going off and listening to it and going, oh, this is great, 24 hours and not contribute something. There are people matching donations there. And just from someone who does the podcast, I do the podcast, we have at least one a week. And I'm telling you that interviewing people, getting the right questions, managing it all is bloody difficult. So massive respect to you. And if you're listening to this and enjoying any of the speakers, and there's been brilliant people on and brilliant people to come, you know, just think about just clicking on that link and doing a bit of a donation, because people aren't doing it for nothing. They're doing it for charity. So let's do it. See, Bob Geldof moment. There we go.
Well done, Jenny.
I didn't swear, but I said, give us your fucking money.
And he actually never said that, by the way.
No, I was going to say that. It's an urban myth.
There we go. There we go. I knew that if you say anything, someone will pick you up on it.
There you go. It wouldn't be an Infosec conference otherwise, would it, really?
It'll be trending on Twitter within the next 10 minutes, I'm sure.
Oh, damn it. Okay, Jenny, Stu, thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. It'd be great if you were sticking around and listening in to what else we've got. But yeah, thanks for your time. Really much appreciated.
Thanks. Well done, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.